Remember a few years ago when we had tag team Pokemon? You know, those big basic 3 prizers with high HP and super powerful attacks? Yeah, those things could attack on turn 1 without any problems. Fast forward to the present, and the Pokemon Company is so terrified of printing unstoppable basics that they won't let Terapagos EX attack on your first turn going second. Except Raging Bolt EX is arguably better than Terapagos EX, and that can do whatever the hell it wants. Anyways, I'm getting off track like when I was running at the Olympics and the person next to me was barefoot. Terapagos EX is one of the 4 Stellar Tera Pokemon EX coming in Stellar Crown on September 12th, and it's the first appearance of Terapagos in the TCG, which debuted in the Scarlet and Violet DLC. It features 2 great attacks, though the first one is getting all the attention. For 2 colorless energy, Unified Beatdown does 30 damage times the number of bench Pokemon you have in play, except you can't use the attack turn 1 going second, so you'll be inclined to go first with this deck. If you're a math whiz like me, you'll know that Unified Beatdown can only do a disappointing 150 damage with a full bench, and that's reduced to 130 with a double turbo energy attach. But put Area 0 Underdepths in play, now you can have up to 8 bench Pokemon and deal up to 240 damage, able to one-shot the majority of basic Pokemon in the game. Though, again, it's down to 220 with double turbo. While that's good, it's not exactly game-busting and leaves you wondering, what about the higher HP evolution Pokemon? It sucks, but you can't really do much to get Terapagos over 300 damage unless you run something like Kieran and Maximum Belt. So instead you have to go on defense, and Bouffalant helps with that immensely. As long as you have at least 2 Bouffalant in play, all of your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks. This effectively gives Terapagos 290 hit points. Slap on a Bravery Charm, now it's 340. Then you can annoy your opponent by denying prize cards with things like Penny and Scoop Up Cyclone, putting Terapagos and all attached cards back into your hand. If you do go second with Terapagos and can't use Unified Beatdown right away, all hope is not lost. The second attack, Crown Opal, all of the attacks on Stellar Pokemon are named after jewels and require 3 different types of energy, does 180 damage. Not too exciting, but the effect is what you care about. After launching Crown Opal, Terapagos becomes immune to damage from your opponent's basic non-colorless Pokemon. Essentially, top attackers like Raging Bolt EX, Tealmast Ogerpon EX, Chien-Pao EX, Radiant Charizard, Cramorant, Miraidon EX, Dreamtail, Drifloon, Roaring Moon, and Iron Hands EX can't touch it. You will, however, have to worry about evolutions and basic colorless Pokemon like Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, and effects of attacks like Roaring Moon EX's Frenzied Gouging. Obviously, the toughest part about using Terapagos' Crown Opal is the energy requirement. That's where Glass Trumpet comes tooting in. Of course, you could avoid thinking and just run double turbo on your Terapagos list, only ever using Unified Beatdown, but the galaxy-brained among us will know how strong Crown Opal can be. As you can see in this Terapagos EX list from Japan, you run Grass, Water, and Lightning Energy, plus 4 Glass Trumpet to ensure you're attacking as much as possible. 3 Noctowl gives you access to trainers you need beginning on turn 2, 3 Bouffalant all but guarantees reduced damage to your basic colorless Pokemon, and the rest of the list is fairly straightforward. Either hit hard with Unified Beatdown or stall with Crown Opal, then Penny or Scoop Up Cyclone a Terapagos once it gets hit to prolong games. If you hate basic energy though and want to run a card that's much tougher to recover, this is what you can expect from a Terapagos list that solely uses double turbo energy. Because you save about 9 spots in your deck with this build, you can add Bibarel for extra consistency, Briar to take an extra prize card if they have 2 prizes left, and Colress's Tenacity to guarantee yourself an Area 0 and a double turbo energy. In addition to Bouffalant, other support Pokemon in the deck are Noctowl and Fan Rotom. On your first turn of the game, Fan Rotom can just go and get any 3 colorless Pokemon from your deck with 100 HP or less and put them directly into your hand. So you can grab 3 in any combination of Hoothoot, Noctowl, Bouffalant, and Fan Rotom, though you can only ever use 1 Fan Rotom ability on that first turn, regardless of how many copies are on the field. Then there's Noctowl. If you have Terapagos EX or any other Stellar Pokemon in play, it gets you any 2 trainer cards from your deck upon evolving. It's not quite as powerful as Pidgeot EX, which can get you any 1 card every single turn, but Noctowl is a single prizer that you can use to find Area 0 and a supporter, making the deck super consistent. One word that I've been using to describe my new girlfriend and many of the new Stellar Crown decks is flexibility, and Terapagos is no exception. With Charizard EX primed to be the best deck in format to end 2024, splashable grass Pokemon are going to be more important than ever. Or I guess, as important as the last time Charizard was BDIF. Thanks to Glass Trumpet, the option is open for Iron Leaves EX in a Terapagos deck. You already run Grass Energy to help fulfill the requirement of Crown Opal, so all you have to do is Glass Trumpet some energy into play, bench your Iron Leaves, move the energy to it, and one-shot a Charizard. Elsewhere, you could use someone like Raikou via an energy switch to hit Lugia V-Star and Palkia V-Star for weakness. Palkia V-Star is primed to be a top deck come Stellar Crown, and Raikou V already gets helped out by the existence of Area 0, so even if you aren't taking advantage of weakness, it's still a decent attacker. Instead of using Scoop Up Cyclone as your ace spec, there's also Sparkling Crystal. Depending on how good Crown Opal ends up being, Sparkling Crystal could push Terapagos over the edge, reducing the attack cost by 1 of any type of energy. Or if you want to look ahead to the future, we're likely getting the Precious Carrier A-Spec and Surging Sparks, our November set. With a Terapagos EX in the active and an Area 0 in play, you can use Precious Carrier turn 1 to literally put 8 Pokemon directly onto your bench. Yeah, that's freaking insane! And Precious Carrier is searchable with Irida and Arven. And don't forget about Briar. If your opponent has exactly 2 prizes remaining, which they'll have after KOing 2 Terapagos, you can take an extra prize card on your opponent's active Pokemon if it's KO'd by one of your Tera Pokemon. So you can take 3 prizes on something like Raging Bolt EX, potentially winning a game you might have otherwise lost. A couple other cards to mention as potential inclusions with Terapagos are Roseanne's backup and Gengar. Roseanne shuffles back in a Pokemon Tool, Energy, and Stadium from your discard pile, so you can put back a Double Turbo, an Area 0, and a Bravery Charm. Gengar, meanwhile, removes any worries when it comes to someone bumping your Area 0, as you can easily put it back into play from the discard pile. And that was your early look at how good Terapagos EX is going to be come Stellar Crown on Thursday, September 12th. While it will be a good deck on its own, Terapagos also ends up as a great partner for older cards like Palkia V-Star and Zoroark V-Star, giving them access to Area 0 underpants. How strong do you think Terapagos will be when it comes out? Let everyone know in the comments.